Hi, welcome to another episode of Project Geospatial. I'm Adam Simmons, and this is Late Night Geo. We sometimes bring on random guests and talk about the geo news. And by the way, it is still an open mic invitation. So if anybody's watching this, like to join the show, fill in the PM me at Project Geospatial Media on Twitter, and I'll bring you right in. I don't have too many topics I want to bring up this night. I'm actually pretty exhausted, but I do have a couple announcements. So first off, I want to talk about what's coming up ahead. Some of our partners, the American Geographical Society, is hosting an event May 18th through 20th. And that's the Geoconvergence Workshop, and they are partnered with the National Science Foundation. So, what is geoconvergence exactly? That is a good question. So I'm just going to read a brief blurb because honestly, I'm still finding out a little bit more about it myself. The geospatial revolution continues to infuse every academic discipline and field of technology. Uh, let's see, profession, industry, and government mission. There is no organized dialogue to remove the barriers hindering the larger geoconvergence afoot, which is posed to integrate all of human endeavor within a common 4D framework. Okay, well, these are a lot of words. So realizing fully geoconvergence can serve as a force multiplier in our nation's efforts to tackle one of the grand challenges we face as a society: climate change, sustainability, urban resilience, mobility, intelligence, transportation, national security. Okay, more and more and more. Okay. But first, we must rally to remove the impediments that necessarily complicate and hinder its realization. So what is this about? Okay, let's it's a convergence accelerator. Okay. Key characteristics: use inspired, application oriented. Look, I will find out more about this and I'll post it. Check it out. They're going to have a number of speakers, and let's see, Dr. Nadine Alamay, hopefully I pronounced that right, Chief Executive Officer of Open Geospatial Consortium, Dr. Michael Crow, President of Arizona State University, Mr. Tony Fraser, Executive Vice President of Global Field Operations at Maxar, Dr. Parag Khanna, please, hopefully I pronounced that right, founder at Future Map. And then Miss Denise McKenzie, chair of the Association for Geographic Information Benchmark Initiative. So a lot of folks are going to be presenting. Those are the main speakers. The programs are a little bit diverse. It's going to be a 3-day conference, like I said. The first day is we're all going to be the main presentations by all those individuals, talking about various topics. So they're going to be actually panels. The panels are TBD right now, so are a bit of a month out. But you can go to geoconvergence.org. The second day is going to be a bunch of workshops, and we don't have any details in the workshops yet either. And then the third day is just going to be the closing remarks and kind of the debrief and summary about the entire conference. So, with that said, I look forward to this. Look forward to checking it out, and let me know if you have anything. Let's see. What else do we have here? The next thing I have is let's talk about what's going on with Project Geospatial. So, Project Geospatial got a couple things going on. I'm in the process. I got it all set up. It took me a bit, but we got a dedicated line to the house, which I've run everything out of right now. So I have a dedicated gigabit line, which means that I can support a committed Project Geospatial archive channel. It's going to be running 24/7 soon. So I am going to set that up this weekend. It's going to run and it's going to recycle through all of our old episodes. I'm going to start with the last year, but we actually have enough content going back almost 10 years. So you get to see some classics. You get to see a lot of industry videos, especially from the virtual tech fair last May. And we're also going to push through all the Geography 2050 videos in which we partnered with AGS last fall. So that'll be I'm really excited to see how that turns out, and probably going to be a little bit lessons learned. A little bit kind of a behind the scenes stuff. The bad part about a lot of the streaming is a lot Twitch and YouTube usually have these kind of 24-hour, 23 hours and 59-minute live cycles you can't kind of go over. So, which means the feed kind of shuts down at the last 23 hours and 59 minutes. And so you got to restart the feed. So it has to recycle. So I have to kind of work out a technical issue where I have to get it to automatically restart itself So I don't have to like wake up in the middle of the night or at a certain point in the day and just automatically restart it manually. So it's not a difficult problem. I've done it before. I just got to make sure it all works. So fun stuff there. And then we can set up more channels. Because that's the difficult thing. Right now, I have a couple channels already set up, but everything I'm running behind the scenes right now is a very manual thing. So if I want to post no old episodes, I got to schedule it and push it through, or I upload it to these schedulers right now. And believe it or not, the web platforms for those costs, they're a little bit of a pretty penny because you got to store them within their databases and you got to schedule them out. Yes, more bots. Thank you, Joy of Geo. But there is a way I'm working. I got another computer on the side. I'm actually trying to set up as its own little media server and get it to run automatically through there. So I already got all the stuff to set up for that, much cheaper. And I should go over one of these times soon. I'm actually trying to set it up with if anybody knows Kevin Corbley out there, we might do at some point down the road. We've been talking for months about doing behind the scenes lessons of virtual conferences and how to do some of this podcasting stuff or host panels and some of the lessons learned we've had about that. So not less geo stuff and more how to push this stuff out. But I get questions occasionally of not necessarily what cameras I'm running, but how I get it all to work behind the scenes. And I know a lot of podcasters do, but I have a unique setup where I'm focused on specific things working at specific times and bigger live shows when it comes to more than 3 to 6 people, sometimes a lot more choreographed. So, and it requires a lot of manual work, or you have to do a lot of pre-setup to get it to work. So you don't have to really think about it as much. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent there. So yeah, the PG Archive channel, look for that hopefully this next week. And I already have a Twitch channel set up for that. It is called, let me see if I think it's PG Archive, but I can't recall exactly. Let's see. Trying to figure out what it is. Of course, I got the Twitch TV/project. It could just be Project Geo. Anyway, I'll get it to you guys. I also have another channel for Geospatial Frontier too, but honestly, Geospatial Frontiers historically been dedicated to the events that we do, bigger events like the virtual tech fair or more industry level stuff. So less about focusing on project geospatial content and more about industry content. But I might begin the process of integrating a lot of that stuff within the main Project Geospatial website down the road, just because it's been standing on its own for too long and not doing much lately. But we got a lot of plans, and the next week or two, I'm meeting up with some people to talk about where Project Geospatial is going next. And suppose I'm not sure if I mentioned it on a previous show, but I'm okay with openly saying this now. Project Geospatial is now a nonprofit, by the way. We're working on to get our tax exempt status, and we have a couple different goals. We're still primary goals is still increase awareness of geospatial technology, best practices, and community resources. That's always been the goal. That's what we'll continue to keep on doing through video and media, and hosting different industry videos, government videos, panels, etc. So that's going to be ongoing. But now we're going to evolve it to be trying to fulfill other needs as well. One of the small pet projects I have is trying to host sample data from a lot of vendors. Hopefully I can get that on a run. So you get maybe 1 or 2 images from each vendor or different types from all their different sensors, so that we can have a kind of a stack of a central hub to get all this stuff from, because it is a tedious process to get it from. And there are sometimes when you go straight to the vendors, it's a mixed bag of what you get. So it's not a matter of just getting the sample data, but also hopefully standardizing the sample data across the board and saying, hey, I just don't just want this. I want this at this location with this specific format, so I can and then we can kind of catalog it and offer it to anybody who wants to use it for research purposes, or just get a quick idea what that sensors are capable of. So that's one of the projects I have going forward. And then we do have our media kit ready, by the way. So I know I've been hesitant to share that out with a lot of folks who have asked, hey, how, Project Geospatial looking for sponsorships and partners and members. Right now, we've been doing this all for as a kind of a, in some ways, a hobbyist format. And as we're transitioning to a nonprofit organization, we got to keep this up and running somehow. But we now have a media kit ready to openly invite sponsors and partners, however you want to word it. So that's ready, and we will hopefully start posting that out. It's available on request right now, but we'll send that out to people who are interested in it. So you can reach us at projectgeospatial.com. There's a few links, and you can click on if you want to see what that looks like too. Let's see, what else do I have on the board? Oh, I do want to bring up a few websites I found. Let's see here. Oh, yes. So I just read recently that the Pleiades Neo constellation is ready for launch. They're launching in 18 days, 6 hours, 38 minutes, and 43 seconds. Yes, I know it down to the second because I'm looking at their webpage and they got a counter. So what is the Pleiades Neo constellation? I think they advertise their most advanced optical constellation with 4 identical 30 centimeter resolution satellites, or 0.3 meter resolution satellites. And so it's a small constellation right now. And so I'm assuming these are a lot smaller satellites, being that they're called NEO. Best in class geolocation accuracy and twice a day revisit. Ooh, interesting. So they're going to offer multi-day intraday revisit opportunities for the satellite. So a lot of the old traditional satellite providers are working on launching their, I guess, smaller satellite platforms up into space right now. And I guess it's about time. I guess I can download the brochure for them, see what it looks like. Let's see. It's nice to keep up with Maxar too. Maxar's got a small sat constellation. They're in the works as well. We should check that out. It's not ready for launch yet, but I know it's coming up. So while I get this to load up, we'll check out the Pleiades brochure, see what other capabilities they're advertising with this thing. Oh, okay, there's a lot of graphics, not a lot of content on this. Interesting. Okay, they don't have as much. I mean, how much advertising can they do with this? I mean, I guess quite a bit. They've already got a satellite constellation, so they're just kind of reusing a lot of the same content there. They're really just trying to advertise the higher value of a higher resolution satellite because they have a 0.5 meter for the rest of their satellites, or at least the highest resolution. And really, I believe that's kind of like upsampled or something because their satellite imagery more comes in like 0.6 or 0.7 sometimes, and they increase. I guess they digitally try to increase the resolution of that. So this is a higher resolution, and really they're trying to market more of what the higher resolution is really good for. I actually consider the intraday revisit rate more valuable, or if not just as valuable as the 0.3 meters. To be honest, I mean 0.3 meters has been out there for a little bit now, especially since Maxar has been shooting a lot in that range with their satellites. Dynamic range at acquisition 12 bits. That's interesting. Up to 2 million square kilometers a day, 14-kilometer swath at nadir. So sun synchronous 10:30 a.m. descending node and 620 kilometers altitude. Spectral bands: deep blue, green, red edge, near infrared, and panchromatic. Ooh, they have near infrared as an option too. That will be fascinating. So what else we got? So we will try to keep an eye on that launch. Hopefully we can show that launch. We got a little bit of a hot water for showing the Indian launch. They didn't like that too much. Even though we were just kind of narrating it and showing it on our show, they gotten some hot water for that. But it was still a really, really cool launch that happened a few months ago. Let's see. So I guess this was not like a U.S. government launch or sponsored by the U.S. government. We got to be a little more careful about that. Let's The other thing I wanted to talk about, and hopefully we'll get him on. I've been emailing him back and forth with the Cesium recently. Cesium's been announced that so they built a on top of the Unreal Engine. They built open standards and APIs because Cesium for Unreal combines 3D geospatial capability for Cesium with high fidelity rendering power for Unreal Engine. So what am I actually saying here? They've actually created a 3D globe. Cesium has, and I think I talked about this in one of the previous late night GS. Created an actual 3D globe on top of the Unreal, I guess you call it, gaming engine. So, and there's a plugin for it, and basically people can make games off of the actual realistic globe. Maybe I'll show their marketing video right quick because I know they'd probably be okay with that, and I'm not trying to advertise anybody's stuff, but I think it's kind of cool. So let's see, share that. I'm just gonna. Where's the screen share button? Oh, there it is. All right. Here we are. The sound's not important, so if the sound's not coming through, it's okay. So this is a demonstration of someone creating like a little model in there. You can walk through the whole globe. An accurate full-scale globe for an Unreal Engine. So you can, and I saw some videos on Twitter of someone actually mocking up, just putting an airplane, just flying around the Cesium globe, which is pretty cool. This is pretty sweet, actually. So the Earth in a lot of these games going forward is going to look more and more realistic, and potentially you're going to have the whole Earth and some games, if it makes sense, to travel around in. Now it looks a little off because it looks like they applied a lot of the LiDAR data in there, and when you're on the ground level driving through that car just a few seconds ago in that video, it looks a little off. Let's see if we can. I can't go back in it. I can pause it next time it plays. Why? Because they're playing it on Vimeo, embedded on the website, and they took out the controller for it. Ah, man, where's the? I can't actually go back in time. Maybe I can recycle real quick. Like I said, I'll see if I can pause it. But you can kind of see, even when this guy's running, how off when you really zoom down, the details are when you're that close to the ground, because it is based off of LiDAR. A lot of these areas are. It's great for when you're flying a little bit of a higher altitude, but not great so close up. And that might require some more advanced. See, this isn't so bad because they probably took a ground camera and shot all around it, that building, and so some additional 3D rendering or graphics work might have to be done if they're going to incorporate this in the game. So you can see, like, just watch if I can pause this. Okay, see the cars here on the right? That's the problem right there. Shot from an aircraft, you can see above the city. That's what kind of results you'll get from the LiDAR. So unless it was shot from a drone flying through the city, which is unrealistic, you're not going to get a lot of detail there. Or, probably integrate some ground cameras from a car driving through. You might be able to get some better shots and model it out. But regardless, this is incredible. Once again, a global perspective, a global realistic world that you can incorporate into games. So offers a huge amount of potential. And what this is reminding me of is Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I've been meaning to do this for quite a while, is showcase to you guys, because I have Flight Simulator, but I want to show the integration of imagery within that game and how that's being used. And that's truly incredible, flying through the realistic globe on that. And the challenge I have right now is it is a graphic intensive application. And there's a struggle between how I might have to actually dumb down the graphics just so I can stream that out and showcase to everybody, but we'll see what I can do. So what else do I have here? I had something else too. So another thing we're going to have coming up is I just talked today with Near Space Labs, and we're going to have them on the show in 2 weeks. and they're fascinating. I'm not going to give away too much, except they're another imagery provider, aerial imagery provider, but not aircraft, not satellites. As I mentioned, it's an aerial provider, but not aircraft. These are actually balloons, balloons that fly at about 65,000 feet. I guess between 65 and 90,000 feet, something like that. And they shoot aerial imagery, and I believe the resolution was somewhere around. Oh, here we go. 30 centimeter pixels. They say 10 centimeters in development, and which will be very, very interesting. At that point, their altitude is set, and because of the altitude, they can get pretty close to the ground. Just got to improve the camera at that point. And I imagine, since I don't know how it would work if it's. I would imagine the movement of the satellite is worse than the movement of a balloon, so they might be able to get. But either way, I don't think they're able to control the movements of the balloon as much, but I will be really fascinated to hear their presentation in 2 weeks. I hope you guys will too. You're going to see more of that on the Project Geospatial schedule over the weekend as I post and create the graphics for that. And this should be a really fun to learn about this new imagery provider in the market. They've only been around for a year. So very cool stuff. Yeah, here we go. They fly in the stratosphere between 60 and 85,000 feet. So that's why they call near space labs. Capturing a whopping 400 to 700 square kilometers of imagery per flight. The stratosphere gives you a better vantage point for a much lower price than airplanes and satellites. Either way, very fascinated to see what they can do with this and hear their story. All right. So with that said, I do not have much else to talk about. I am going to be more prepared next weekend, but hey, every once in a while I get a little exhausted myself, and we have our low weeks, and we will get more people on the show, rest assured. But there's a lot of BD that has to work on the back end to get that going too. So look out, lots of news ahead. This is going to be a big year for Project Geospatial, and I believe a big year for the geospatial community as a whole, with a lot of things coming out this year. So, and I can't wait to, as usual, talk about it. We will talk to you next time. This is Adam Simmons with Late Night Geo. And by the way, I will say I'm usually up till midnight anyway. So if anybody still wants to hop back on, send me a message on, and we'll have another discussion about anything. So talk to everybody later.